A Cheektowaga hockey rink will remain closed tonight, 24 hours after numerous children were exposed to high levels of carbon monoxide inside and taken to the hospital. You might have heard about this. This is at a Holiday Twin Rinks, says National Fuel cleared that property. It announced it would reopen this afternoon, but it has since changed course, saying it is taking time to ensure there are no remaining issues there. It was around 6:30 last night that first responders were called and found extremely high levels of carbon monoxide. More than 100 people had to be evacuated there. National Fuel announcing today a broken furnace in the snack bar area was to blame for that and caused CO to build up for several days. So tonight, a family at the rink yesterday sharing their scary experience with us, and a first responder on the scene talking about that evacuation. 7 News reporter Michael Schwartz looking into what kind of regulations there are in place to help businesses protect customers from something like this. But senior reporter Eileen Buckley leads us off tonight with coverage from Cheektowaga.
A very scary situation for more than 100 children and adults who were sickened by carbon monoxide poisoning Wednesday night while playing hockey here at the Holiday Twin Rinks in Cheektowaga. Ready, Mo? What was supposed to be a fun day of hockey at the Holiday Twin Rinks on Broadway in Cheektowaga turned into an alarming scene as children fell ill.
There was some further updates from our dispatch office that there were several children that were projectile vomiting.
Jason Tolsma, Director of Emergency Services and Safety for the town of Cheektowaga, rushed to the scene. When the fire department arrived, there were extremely high levels of carbon monoxide inside the building, and everyone was evacuated.
AMR evaluated several children on scene and transported 2 children and 1 adult yesterday from the Holiday Twin Rinks. During the evacuation, most of the parents and children and coaches evacuated on their own and left the scene and drove to wherever, and then we're understanding that they sought medical treatment on their own at various hospitals throughout Western New York.
This is 8-year-old Dominic, who was treated for CO poisoning. His mother telling me she brought him to DeGraff Hospital for treatment. He was released Wednesday night and is doing well.
It was kind of shocking. You don't expect that to happen. It's 2023.
Parent Jackie Brizzolaro of Hamburg was at the rink with her 8-year-old daughter, Maura, who plays goalie, and started complaining of headaches.
It hurt a lot, really bad.
Maura and her mom watched as other players became ill.
It's scary when they're physically exhausted as it is. I mean, we could tell the players were slow and it was not normal. The second game was not normal at all.
The Holiday Twin Rinks issued a statement saying faulty heating equipment in the lobby caused unsafe CO levels. It was also stated they are disappointed the CO detector failed us during this terrible event.
It's scary. I know we didn't hear any kind of alarm at all.
National Fuel also investigated and in a statement said it was not a gas leak and the rink's owner is making repairs. The rink remains closed. Now, no one from the Holiday Twin Rinks would go on camera for an interview, but also in their statement, they offered an apology, saying they were very sorry their customers had to experience this event. In Cheektowaga, Eileen Buckley, 7 News.
So I wanted to look further into this to see how this could have happened and the legalities surrounding it. I spoke to the owner of the ice rink on the phone. He told me that there are multiple carbon monoxide detectors throughout the building. He said the one in the front of the building is the detector that failed. He said that's where the high levels of carbon monoxide were detected. He said he feels terrible that this happened, but says 4 new detectors have now been installed. Now, he said he doesn't know when the detectors were last inspected, but says they will now be checked to make sure this never happens again. Cheektowaga Police reminds businesses and all property owners to test your CO detectors.
You know, we always encourage the residents to test their smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors twice a year and change the batteries. Business owners, and I would encourage them to at least do the same thing.
I also spoke to Cheektowaga's code enforcement officer. He said he went to the rink with the fire inspector as there was actually a fire inspection scheduled there today. He said once everything is repaired, there will be another inspection. The code enforcement officer says law requires commercial spaces to have carbon monoxide detectors on every floor that has fueled-fired devices, with some exceptions based on the use of the building. While the code enforcement officer did not have the exact date when the detectors at the rink were last tested, he says there were no violations found. Michael Schwartz, 7 News, Cheektowaga.